Hey guys, it's Peter from US Family Turf. Today we're going to be talking about using stepping stones, 2 foot by 2 foot, to design a nice patio area in your backyard, surrounded with turf or with rocks to make it look absolutely amazing. Okay, so what happens first is we dig down up to 4 inches down and removing all of the grass. From there, depending on the type of yard, you might be using a weed barrier, you might be using gopher mesh. If there's dogs, sometimes not even the weed barrier, just all depends if you have a built-in weed barrier. Then, we're going to be using class 2. Class 2 is put down and it's leveled out, but it isn't hard compacted down yet. It just uses a little bit of a hand with scraping it down, making sure it's good. You can see the actual stepping stones here. These weigh about 100 pounds, so they're pretty heavy. They're around about 2.5 inches thick, and they're 24 inches this way and 24 inches this way. So it means that depending on the type of turf that you're using, there's going to be different heights. So a pile height of a turf can be about 1.75 to up to 2.5, even lower. So we need to dig down manually and scrape it. So using a level over here, using string to use as a level, we'll know where we have to reach up to. So that way we can actually scrape away and then use a level to see if it's actually working right. Okay, so you can see our guys behind us, what they're doing, they're scraping down and then they're compacting down and hitting it, making sure there's no movement, it's not going to crack underneath, because if it's sitting and there's a rock underneath and there's too much pressure on one side, it can actually crack them. These are a very good stepping stone. They're actually from Bellegarde, so they're very strong, but still on the wrong area it can crack right through. So you can see we're going to be leveling it off. We're also going to be using a measurement in between. So we're actually going to be using turf in this area. It's going to be 4 inches. Some people like a 6 inch or a 1 foot in between. However, with this specific design, we're going to be doing a diamond design. So it is very important that we use a 4 inch, something that can be divided by 12 inches, because otherwise they just won't match up. So doing a diamond design, 1, takes a lot more planning, 2, takes a lot more time because you have to cut all of these. And there's actually a high chance of breaking off and cracking the other side. And so you generally end up using at least 30% more material, and it does take about double the time with cutting and then installing it. But you can see this is the start of a diamond design. You'll notice in reference to the house, all the others that are staying intact, they're all going diagonally across and then using these in the sides, all tie in together to look like a beautiful design. They'll sit right flush in the turf. So once we have everything set, what we're going to do is we're actually going to be putting a bit of class 2 in here and keeping it probably just a little bit below. Our pile height on our turf is 1.75, so we don't want it sitting at the very top. We want it just a little bit below it, so it looks like it's natural, just like it would be into grass. Then we'll build up the area around it, we'll compact it in, okay? And then we're going to use nails to hold down the turf. Now, turf can be used in 2 different ways in this circumstance. 1, if it's a huge area, you can do strips of turf, but each piece of turf has to be done in the right angle to the grain of the turf that's going to be next to it. Otherwise, it will look very funny. So you can't just do a bunch of random cuts. It takes up a lot of the material, making sure it's all the same grade so that it looks perfect in there. Second is, if there's only a few and it's going to be in the very middle, a row is 15 foot wide. So if it's a little bit just in the middle, you can cut them directly into the turf. There is the risk, of course, so if you do mess up the cuts, then the whole piece of turf is ruined and you need to restart again. So there's multiple different ways for different applications. In this particular situation, we'll probably do strips. And like I said, it does eat up a lot more turf, but it is a little bit easier because you wouldn't do a giant area in this specific circumstance. Other times you would.